We managed to fashion a scraper that's screwed into a pole.
Hey Jamie, where you put the scraper? Huh? The scraper, Daddy needs it.
Toiletbeard, the stain on our happy home. The name alone, man, that's quite something. So my partner and I love listening to the stories of human garbage on YouTube, usually ReddX, TimTamTom, or r/, and boy, have I got a beard for you. I mean, I'm not gonna come at you for your preferences or anything like that, but I'm just saying, out of those three, who do you like the best? It's like picking your favorite kid, you know? You just can't do it. But secretly you can do it. Just DM me. Let me know. I need your validation! Okay. Marking not safe for work because of minor grossness, which we don't mind. We kind of revel in that around here. I've been living with a group of my friends for almost 2 years now. Most of us just out of college. All of us are in our mid-20s. We've all known each other for almost a decade now, first meeting back in high school. There are a lot of variables from story to story, so I'm gonna need to name all the non-beards. Miles, that's our OP, Lee, Bestie, Jess, Sister, Ben, and May are the leaders of our house group, and they are a married couple. Bro, you packing like 5-6 people into a house? This is just, how is this possibly sustainable? I'm gonna need you guys to join my new political movement or resurgence of an old political movement. It's the rent is too damn high party. God damn, that's why I had to leave the US, I'll tell you that much. Here's the setup, since I want you to know what the offenders look like. Toiletbeard is about 5.5 feet tall. He is wider than our fridge/freezer with a thick black curly beard touching the middle of his chest. Toiletbeard only really seems to have one outfit, red basketball shorts and a baggy brown t-shirt with assorted stains and holes. Toiletbeard is not my friend. He's really only Ben's friend, and the reasoning behind that is dubious at best. I've actually posted a few things a while ago about Toiletbeard, which I might have to post again due to deletion. This man is a disaster. Well, that's what we into around here. Human disasters. I find it pretty interesting that he's so wide, but he's wearing like sporty shorts and stuff like that. I guess because they're pretty comfortable. Although, maybe Toiletbeard secretly plays like a mean game of b-ball, you know? He's like the best screener on the whole team. All he has to do is stand in front of the basket. Lee and I first met Toiletbeard at the wedding of Ben and May that summer, but we really didn't have enough to get a read on his personality besides one, "I'm the best man," comment that he made to me. He doesn't sit at our table during the reception, and I didn't see him again until that weekend when stopping by the couple's apartment. He was staying over for some reason. Yeah, that's a hell of a honeymoon. Baby, I'm so glad you're my wife. Let's go hang out with Toiletbeard. Classic. I wrote this off as, oh, they're doing their honeymoon another time, I guess, kind of thing. And I just ignored it. I was wrong. Toiletbeard showed up pretty regularly after that point. At some points, he was just staying for weeks on end, as I found out. Sure, fine, if that's what they want to do, right? He must be pretty close friends with Ben, right? Right? Well, we'll get into the cohabitation. But yeah, this is already a really weird situation. I would not be putting up with any crap like that. I got some of my best friends in the world, and I'd be like, look, I just married my wife, and I need you to get the fuck out. We got grown-up married people stuff to do in here. Get out! We originally moved to our current home in late 2019 after some issues with the apartment complex that Lee, Ben, May, and I all lived at. Pooling our resources, we found a sick place that was perfect and just down the street. My sister also had plans to move to this city as well, promising to pay her own way in if she could live with us too. Unbeknownst to us, Ben's best friend, had also been looking for a place as well. We hadn't really spent a lot of time around him, but Ben definitely made Toiletbeard seem like a cool guy that could fit in well with our dynamic, so we unfortunately agreed to let him join in. I'm already looking at Ben as suspect too, man. Birds of a feather and all that. You vouched for this guy. You put your reputation on the line, and now your reputation is stained. Like said toilet, named after the beard. Or maybe the beard's named after the toilet. I don't really know. I can't get into that chicken and the egg right now. So we got the place, and we split the areas up accordingly. Lee, Jess, and I took the upstairs portion. The other three took the downstairs. This was perfect because of Toiletbeard's bad knees that wouldn't allow him to go up and down the stairs. Remember this. Bro, you lose a couple 100 pounds, you probably feel like you have a new lease on life. I'm just saying. Toiletbeard has a room, but he doesn't use it for anything but storage. Instead, he generally prefers to sleep on the couch, in full view of anyone and everyone to gaze upon his majestic sleeping gut. Cleanliness. Toiletbeard's room is directly below Lee's. This really doesn't mean much, but when we go downstairs, his room is directly to the left, along with his own bathroom, which he does not take care of, hence the name. So I guess it is a case of the beard being named after the toilet, which seems far more fitting than the other way around. Did you know that if you neglect to clean your toilet regularly, it can grow a black mold around the rim? No, I didn't. Also, did you know if you're diabetic, your pee can be sticky? I did know that diabetic urine attracts ants, but the black mold, that's something else, man. Can't you die from black mold? Is it like any black mold that'll kill you, or just like a specific type? I'm not a moldologist or anything, but I guess it does kind of come with the territory of being a neckbeard scientist. But anyways, needless to say, Toiletbeard does not clean after himself. Whether he even wipes is an unknown too, but not my business. Oh, trust me, if he didn't wipe, you could smell it. I guess he at least does that. However, when I come home and I can see the state of his bathroom as I enter, it is a sad fucking thing. Door wide open, vent fan running, scraps of toilet paper and rolls on the floor, with a towel draped over whichever surface. Seat is also up, of course. But we do see some toilet paper in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and push forward the hypothesis that he does in fact wipe, at least. The bare minimum you can do. Thank God for that. Today, I'd like to tell you about how his bathroom has gotten cleaned previously. Because Toiletbeard let things get to a point that there were flies and stank regularly coming from the bathroom. Ugh. Ben, the saint that he is, or the pushover that he is, offered him a deal. I will clean your bedroom and bathroom for you monthly. You just have to pay me extra when you send rent. They agreed on the deal, and Ben set to work. He cleaned everything himself, by hand, and stayed up fairly late to ensure that everything was good to go. Ben was even kind enough to organize Toiletbeard's games and set up his room in a comfortable way for him. This lasted only a few weeks, I think, especially after the pandemic hit and the mountains of McDonald's bags and assorted fast food junk just stacked up in the beard's den. Well, it ain't a nest without nesting materials. Do you want ants? Because yeah, that's how we got ants. Specifically under the beard's bed and the couch that he occupies regularly. An exasperated Ben once again cleaned the areas and had the pests exterminated. If memory serves, this was around the time that I counted about 12 trash bags lining the hallway from Toiletbeard's room. God damn, dude needs a reality check in a big way. And if you're wondering if I'm talking about Ben or Toiletbeard, the answer to that is yes. He took the furniture out to ensure there was a deep clean. Before finishing, Ben and I went to the store to build a tool to make cleaning that sticky pee residue from the floor easier. Oh God, why is this even necessary? After about an hour, we managed to fashion a scraper that's screwed into a pole. Where's the scraper? Daddy needs it! I do not want to be on my hands and knees for that again. I almost threw up several times when I did it last, and plus I just don't want to hurt my creaky knees, Ben said. Ben also explained to me how last time he cleaned the bathroom, he had to basically throw out the rug due to it being sticky and gross, and flies were living in it. Oh God. That is foul. How does it even get to that point? Only the beard knows. Only the beard knows. This was actually the last time that Ben had cleaned Toiletbeard's living space, as Toiletbeard lost his job after this point. Jesus. But dear Saint Ben wouldn't allow his bestest friend to lose his home, so he covered rent for him for at least 3 months until Toiletbeard joined Walmart staff. Well, at least he did get reemployed. I've heard horror stories about moochers like this, man. But just having a job, that probably ain't enough. Stop pissing on the bathroom rug! I feel like this is running long now, so if you guys enjoy the taste of this beard, I'd be happy to spill some more. I see what you did there. We have plenty. Edit. Lee corrected me. There were more trash bags in the laundry room. Oh my God, what an absolute nightmare roommate. I've had some bad roommates. I'm sure I've talked about them. I've had roommates that I had to like move their stuff out for them when they were at work. I had one roommate that I completely bailed on, disappeared in the middle of the night without letting him know. Like, that is how bad it got. But I'm sure those situations could have gotten to this point if I was spineless enough to sit around and like put up with it. Oh, we're good friends. It's okay. I'll clean up your piss off the floor. Bro, no friend is that good. There is something really, really hinky going on there. I don't like it none too much. But as OP said, this is just a little taste. So we're going to go ahead and push on through into Toiletbeard part number 2 and see just how much more disgusting things can get for us. Oh boy. Toiletbeard 2, get out of my house, Boogaloo. That's what I'd be saying from day one. Hey again, Reddit peeps. I felt like posting a little more in-depth while it's early today. Yesterday I brought up the first of Toiletbeard's crimes, and today I will bring you 1 or 2 more. The upstairs crew, Lee, my bestie, Jess, my sister, and Miles, the OP. Downstairs, Ben, elder millennial, May, Ben's wife, and our offender, Toiletbeard. Standing at a whopping 5'6", over 300 pounds, and sporting a beard darker than his sins, wearing the same old red-stained basketball shorts, your freak of the week! It's Toiletbeard! And the setup. Have you ever met a man who lied excessively? Definitely not. Couldn't be me. Don't ask me about it. Have you ever met someone so pitiful that he refuses to sleep in his own room? Have you ever seen the pale glow of a fat man's gut in the moonlight? That I have, but it was mine. Stay tuned. It gets worse. Refresher for the lazy. Toiletbeard is the friend of a friend who managed to weasel his way into moving into a new house with all of us in 2019. None of us really knew him until moving in, and now all of us, save for Saint Ben, want him out. Get that vote started. Democracy in action. Simple diplomacy and deep respect for our friend Ben kept us from just straight up kicking Toiletbeard out and solving all of our problems. Ben has done a lot for us, and we feel like he's too good a person to just cut his friend without a solid case against him. Bro, you cleaned up his pee! What more do you want? Ben has been patient with us all and understanding when we were in a tight spot, so we all treat him like the elder of our family, or simply a saint, as I call him. I thought that was tongue-in-cheek. Culinary. When things started, we were all usually so busy that we didn't care about his slight weird tendencies. Toiletbeard fell asleep on the couch? Well, he must have been up late or been beat after work. Sure, I don't remember what the hell his job was. Occasionally, he would even offer to cook food for the house. As nice as that sounds, he only did it a handful of times. And the few times that he did, failures were had in at least some way. The 2 times we did kebabs wasn't too bad, but there is a learning curve to that, and I'll cut him some slack there. Any other time, though, the food was blackened to charcoal or somehow undercooked, and in the case of his burgers, they were both. The boy's got a talent. My poor grill. Toilet would always sulk when his efforts didn't match the pristine image from his head.
I'm sorry if it's not edible. I tried.
He would sigh as he slunk back to the ass groove that he was carving into the couch. It's okay, dude. They're fairly good. And other assorted responses attempted to placate the beard, but he still sulked on the couch and gnawed on the blackened rocks that he had created. And then, not long later, he would usually just order something from Uber. At least he's not delusional about it. If he was like, I'm the best chef ever, and then tried to serve this crap, then that would be a little more annoying. But wasting some delicious beef on some burgers you fucked up, that's still slightly annoying. just less. The last time he cooked for the group was back in like early 2020 at best. My grill had been left in peace for the majority of that time besides that, but I was always happy to let any of our ramshackle family use it. I mean, it was a free grill, after all. A few months ago, he made curry and offered me a bowl. It was dark brown and sickly sweet. Ugh, not good. I need the kick. Curry's gotta have the kick, man. What the hell happened? Rice was underneath in some sort of limbo of being unfinished. I did not ask for seconds. I'd be surprised if you even finished the firsts, man. That's something went horribly wrong here. Jesus. As with this or anything else he put his mind to, regularly Toiletbeard would make self-deprecating comments.
I'm no good at anything. I talked all that stuff about being a good cook for the house, but I can't even do that right.
Oh, he's one of those guys. Reassuring him was impossible. We started trying less and less over time.
Well, I just kill myself or lay down on the train tracks or go to sleep in traffic,
etc., etc., etc. Ugh. Yeah, I was mistaken in my judgment that he's being realistic. What he's actually doing is seeking out pity from anyone who will provide it. And luckily, yeah, everybody sees past this crap after a certain point. They're like, whatever, dude. Go sleep in traffic, that's fine. Everyone gets tired of endless reassurances about something that doesn't really even matter. Like, okay, you can't cook. Me either, bro. I don't beat myself up about it. I order a pizza. Consoles. Or consoles. In the last story, I told you to remember a key point about Toiletbeard. Did you remember? His knees. It was his knees, OP.
Oh, it's a good thing you guys wanted the upstairs. My knees, I just can't do the up and down all the time. It's too much on my legs.
Oh, you poor little legs. This was Beardo's statement every time he felt like expressing his infirmity. However, this did not stop him from coming upstairs whenever he heard any of us talking and having fun, especially if there was a video game being played. Okay, it's consoles. Not always because he wanted to join in, most often so that he could observe and then state his shitty opinions about them. When Lee got a PlayStation 4, Toiletbeard actually bought a copy of Persona
for him.
Yeah, I think we've seen this one before. However, it was obvious that that was a lie. because Toiletbeard then asked him,
"Do you mind if I play it while you're not doing it? I can do it while you're at work if that's cool."
"You smell like shit. You're gonna leave trash everywhere. Please buy your own PlayStation." But Lee, being the next saintly person in the house, was just too kind to say no.
"Oh, here, I bought you a video game. No strings attached."
I mean, obviously, there's loads of strings, but just ignore the strings. Oh, God. Sure, dude. Just try not to give me any spoilers, please.
"Oh, yeah, sure. Of course. Hey, Miles, you can play it too if you're interested."
I'd been walking through to get a snack at about this time, and was really trying to move quickly so that I could escape his notice. "What game is it?"
"It's Persona 5. I bought the special edition too. I love this game."
It is a pretty bearded game, all things considered. Not the game in itself, but the fan base. The fan base ruins everything. For a lot of stuff out there. I'm not really interested. Thanks, though.
"Sure, that's cool. If you ever change your mind, though."
I probably won't. I have way too much shit to do, Toilet. He's just looking for a friend, but yeah, I'd keep that barrier nice and strong. Raise the walls. Because the virus killed my job, I was making ends meet with drawing commissions. However, I balanced things enough to the point where I could fuck around basically as much as I like, so long as I met a specific minimum by the end of the week. I hadn't even played my own games for most of that year. Lee had found a new job recently and was still settling into his new schedule. However, he still did like to spend his free time gaming and was genuinely interested in the game. The two of them reached an agreement, and soon enough I would see that fat mass moving upstairs on the regular
just to get his game on.
Oh boy, amazing how that works, isn't it? It's a miracle! So much for the pain in his legs, right? The real problem here began when he just started saying, fuck it, and going to sleep on our couch upstairs. Every night. Oh God. For like 2 or more weeks, I think, he was just there. This annoyed my sister the most, since simply existing was enough to alert and activate
gentle sir mode.
There's too much on that to even start here, so next time I can expound upon his crimes against
female kind.
As most beards, he's big into the miladies. I mean, not into them as much as he would like to be. That's another tangent. Lee got sick of him being there. Jess was enraged every time she would open her door to see him just passed out, and I just plain didn't want him on my floor. So Lee, very cordially, told him off. Okay, dude, you gotta stop staying up here.
What? Why? Did I do something?
You have a bedroom.
Well, yeah, I know. I just prefer being around people.
It's the lamest excuse. Jess is just getting really uncomfortable with you just passing out here. She has trauma and can't stand men that she's not familiar with just being in what's supposed to be a safe space.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. Why didn't she say anything?
Because she asked me to. I don't mind if you keep playing the game, but you're gonna have to stop staying up here. Toiletbeard finally conceded and left in shame, slamming his room door and not coming out for a few hours. Oh, my 9-year-old pulls that one. The blessed silent treatment. We make him think that we don't like it. Lee did try to play some of the game himself, but he was too annoyed to even get very far. The next day, Toiletbeard asked Lee to set up a link so he could just play Persona from his computer using the PS4. I don't know how it works, it just works. It did end up taking all of the use of our TV at all hours when the beard was home. We'd have to shout down at him to stop playing so we could watch Netflix or something. Meters away and still being in imposition. Isn't technology wonderful? Lee also had to remind him again about minding the spoilers. Unfortunately, this must not have stuck in what limited file space he had in his tiny little brain, because literally, the next night, when Lee and I went down for some 2 a.m. taquitos, the best time for taquitos, the beard started in.
This boss is so annoying.
We tried to ignore him. It's not just the boss, bro.
He keeps kicking my ass. I've had to reload like 4 times now.
Sorry about your bad luck, I grunt.
I think I have to go back and romance this character more before I fight this one. You know, you could date the teacher if you blah, 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 blah.
Lee is starting to get visibly annoyed.
I really should have read a guide on my last playthrough. I started over so I could get the best ending this time.
You... what? Lee stares at him coldly.
I started the game again because I screwed up at blah, 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 blah.
We had an agreement. You were almost done with the game a week ago. I was gonna let you finish it so that I could play the game myself. Why the hell did you start over?
Well, this happened, and because I didn't do this other thing, I had to try again so I could get him to I really don't care. Oh my god, please stop talking.
Gee, thanks. I didn't want to find that out for myself, toilet. Fucking asshole. The taquitos were done, and I was not sticking around. I grabbed the plate and nudged Lee to let him know I was going back up. Stealing a glance at Toiletbeard, I saw that he was visibly upset and staring at us, but then quickly got back to his game. I'm done, man. Forget Persona. I'm not playing it. He just ruined the whole story. Lee and Toiletbeard didn't talk for a few days. Jess took initiative and started keeping things playing on the upstairs TV while she was home so that she could keep him from using the PlayStation 4. Jesus Christ. Technological warfare. It keeps him down there, plus I just don't want him to have it. He's a dickhead. Okay, but what about when you're asleep? I'll sleep in here if I have to. Plus, he doesn't know my schedule. Just don't let him take over. I love this pettiness, and I started joining in as much as I could. It was pissing him off, and we all reveled in it. Unfortunately, when he would see us walking by his view, he would call up,
Hey Miles, can you ask your sister if she's still using the PlayStation?
I can, but I don't think you'd like the answer.
I'm just really itching to play Persona some more. I'm really close to beating it.
Cool, but I'm pretty sure she's still watching something.
Oh, just let me know when y'all are done then, okay?
Sure, whatever. I love it. Whatever is the best answer. Can you do this for me? Yeah, whatever. We kept this Cold War going for a while. The beard must have begun braving his injuries, though, as many nights he would quickly rush upstairs when he thought everyone was asleep and turn on the PlayStation. And then he'd rush downstairs with the speed that only a beard on a mission could know. The few nights I actually heard him in action, I didn't know what the hell it was, so I came out of my room with a bat ready for whoever might have broke in, but yet I never saw him. Boy moves fast when he wants to. He might be big, but he quick. How in the hell did he move so fast? I guess his legs must not be hurting, huh? Yeah, 'cause it's night. Everything's different at night. Finally, Lee decided enough was enough. He undid the link between Toiletbeard's computer and his PS4.
Hey Lee,
The beard called up one night.
I can't reach the PlayStation anymore. Could you redo that link for me?
No, I'm not gonna do that. Play the stupid game on your own crap. I'm sick of you monopolizing mine. That's right, enough is enough. Lee grew his spine that day. Toiletbeard couldn't argue, and lacking the spine enough to try, I think he just ended up buying the game on Steam. He still tried spouting about the game to anyone within earshot, and when it was me, I just let him prattle on after reminding him how little a shit I gave about this game. I hope that it was a fun read for y'all. I'm trying to organize these in a way that works with the timeline, but also so you can kind of grow to hate him as we have. There are so many things that this idiot has done, and if we keep playing things right, we might even be rid of him soon. I'll share more of these tales soon, and I hope y'all have a good one. What a horrible specimen. What an absolute parasite. Do you think that he screws up the cooking on purpose so that nobody will ask him to cook things anymore? Because reading a bit more into this guy's character, that seems like exactly the thing that he would do. A peeping, creeping Tom, and he's living in your house?
Get out of my house! Oh.
Toiletbeard 3, Sins Against the Femoids. Oh god, he's an incel too? This is not good. Hey y'all, I've been getting a lot of attention on this beard, so here comes your next serving. A lot of attention indeed. It is still the most upvoted story in the r/ReddX Reads subreddit, which is pretty dang cool. Due to work being extremely hectic today, I didn't get much writing done myself. I will still try to supplement today's tale here at the foreword, and please, if you haven't, listen to parts 1 and 2, you know, those ones in the description that I already plugged, and then return back here. That's at OP's request. ReddX says, listen to whatever you want. As long as you're listening, I'm happy. This first chunk will actually be from the POV of my sister Jess, as she wanted to give a specific set of encounters with Toiletbeard. She has been targeted, as you might guess. Her crime?
Being a lady.
Of course. I believe she'll be sharing even more encounters of the hurdy-gurdy kind on her own page, user Mooncourt Captain Petty. Oh, we'll have to check that one out, which I recommend checking out due to her being a major focus of Toiletbeard's attention. In addition to this tale, there's also a few things involving Jess's girlfriend as well, because many of you are probably wondering, why? And to tell you frankly, it's mostly entirely on our lead roomie, Ben. When Ben moved in high school, he left behind all his friends and no longer had a support network. Depression and thoughts of the deed crept up, and apparently, Toilet was there for him. Dear Toiletbeard kept Ben off the ledge and kept him sane enough until he returned to our town, obviously creating a friend for life. See, there is something human, something redeemable within Toiletbeard. It's just so frustrating. These beards are so flawed, but they are people at the end of the day. In Ben's wife's words, Ben thinks he owes Toiletbeard for that, and being a good friend to him is one of the most important things in his mind. And that is why he is so willing to overlook this fat fuck's flaws, alliteration, and cover his triple extra large ass. The power of friendship. Friendship is magic. Barf. Anyway, true to his nickname, Ben is a saint. He doesn't just help the beard when needed and unneeded. He's helped all of us and is a very important member of our little family. Please, comments, go easy on him. He's a good boy just trying his damnedest, as we all are. And yeah, I understand the logic behind those comments because Ben hasn't really been fleshed out as a character. He's just the hurdle to getting Toiletbeard out of the house. But here in the foreword, we get to see his human side as well. So yeah, as I say in the disclaimer at the very beginning, most people are 100% deserving of redemption. In most cases, at least. Without further ado, here's Jess. Hi all, Jess here. I know Miles has been giving you all a peek at the horrors of living with Toiletbeard. He's given you the structure, the skeleton, the foundation upon which our discontent has been built. Now I'm gonna add some meat onto these bones. Be patient. We have about 400 pounds to get through after all. About me. I'm AFAB, genderqueer, they, them, she, her, and pretty fucking gay. I'm a survivor of sexual assault and familial domestic abuse. Keep these things in mind because it will be important later. Well, I'm glad you came out on the other side of all that, and I hope you're okay. AFAB, for those who might not remember, as I think I've covered it before, means assigned female at birth. But yeah, lovely to meet you. Welcome to the ReddX team. We have free coffee for all of our researchers, the only caveat being that you have to make it yourself, so... First impressions. At the start of it all, I actually didn't mind Toiletbeard. Sure, he was awkward, but Ben had told us that he was on the spectrum, so I didn't think too much of that. We had common interests: music, history, drama. I'd see him in passing, talk for a minute, and just move on with my day. Overall, he seemed nice enough. Alarms would not stop going off in my head, however, and I have learned not to ignore those, but I couldn't put my finger on what the problem was until... Anything you can do? The more we talked to Toiletbeard, the more I started noticing something interesting. It seemed as though he was constantly trying to one-up everyone that he talked to. Yeah, that's beard behavior. At first, it was subtle.
Those burgers look good, Miles. At some point, I need to show you my recipe, though. I mean, that plotline sounds cool, Lee. I wrote something really similar for my last D&D campaign. Everyone liked it.
That subtlety lasted about a month. You know those people that always know more than you? Somehow they're just an expert in every subject across every field, and they could never, ever be wrong. Having committed the crime of being born with a vagina, I'm used to that kind of treatment. Oh boy, shots fired. I do get it though. Women get gatekeeped like unnecessarily. I will never stop saying it seems so hard to be a female or have a vagina. But Toiletbeard does not stop talking down to females. Never mind that Miles and Lee both have degrees in the tech field. Toiletbeard is clearly the expert. No stranger is safe. Toiletbeard knows more about your passions, career, and hobbies, etc. than you ever could. That's right. Whenever I need to up my search engine optimization game over on YouTube, I head to Toiletbeard. I'm like, hey, bro, give me some good keywords. Because that's all the things. That is my passion and career and hobby. Kind of beautiful how that worked out. A cursory Google search teaches you just as much as years of schooling or practical experience, don't you know? These are the people who are never asked for their opinions, but will always make sure that you know it anyways. You know the kind? Yeah, I know the kind. I don't think anybody likes these people. Have we tried telling them off yet? They probably just write that off. They're like, oh, you're just mad I'm smarter than you. Okay, bro. Self-reflection is a part of being intelligent, isn't it? But yeah, we're talking about that shit. There are so many stories revolving around this aspect of Toiletbeard's personality, or more accurately, his lack thereof, that I can't begin to cover them all here. And Lee is probably the person this affected the most, but it does set the stage for now. You see, around this time, I went through a bad breakup. You know the kind. Over a year in, I ended it. They wouldn't give my things back. Everybody's hurting. Sorry all that happened. I hope you got your stuff back. As a way of getting my mind off of things, I threw myself into a game that Lee had asked me to play. Now, I'm not a gamer. Everybody in the house is, except me. So the fact that I was willingly playing a game through and loving it, it was something of a spectacle. And Toiletbeard, of course, took this as an opportunity. I was playing quite late one night, curled up in my nest of blankets, eyes glued to the TV. Cozy. Lee reminded me to drink some water and try to get some sleep before he went to bed. Miles was in his room, where he'd been for hours on a Skype call with his fiancée, also introducing to the cast, Gwen! Footsteps on the stairs. Boom, boom, boom. Heavy breathing. Lee had been gone less than 5 minutes. This dude's such a creep. He's just biding his time, lurking.
Hey, Jess. What are you doing?
Playing Bloodstained.
Cool. Mind if I keep you company?
I said nothing. In my mind, it was rather clear that I didn't want company. The lights were off, and I was stretched across the couch so that there were no free seats. I hadn't talked to anyone but Miles and Lee for days. And yet, Toiletbeard sat. He didn't ask me to move my feet. He didn't go to the armchair across the room. No, Toilet went to Lee's desk and took the chair, and then he wheeled it right behind the couch. Backseat gaming in the truest sense. God, this is going to be awful. The alarm bells started screaming. He was looking down at me in silence. I kept my eyes locked on the TV, but I could smell him. How unwashed he was. God, in the dark with a neckbeard? Please, never in life. I could hear his heavy breathing and feel his eyes on me. The darkness made it worse, and I just tried to keep playing.
You know, that weapon would be more effective if you would fig,
he said, leaning against the back of the couch.
And this boss needs other thing.
I've got it. Thanks, though.
How you doing, kid?
He dropped his voice low, clearly no longer talking about the game. I bristled. Fine.
Good. That's good. Someone like that doesn't deserve you, you know. That's really messed up, Jess.
I'm aware.
I'm just saying, a good guy
There it is.
wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, he's shooting his shot. Goddamn. You might as well just come out and say, like, hey, if you need a fat, smelly, disgusting rebound, I'm right over here. I know that most of this just sounds concerned, but it was his tone, prying, suggestion hidden in the words. He'd kept leaning closer, and I was getting pissed. I sat up and moved to lean on the other arm of the couch, muttering something about my hip. He scooted the chair down to that end, determined to have this conversation for some reason.
You know, you remind me a lot of my ex. She had a habit of dating guys that weren't good for her either. I was probably the only one who ever treated her right.
Oh, it's too much, man. It's just like paint by numbers type of shit. Oh, God.
Obviously, it didn't last long.
It doesn't sound like a compliment, Toilet. Look, I'm fine, okay? I just want to be left alone while I process this.
I'm just trying to be a good friend.
Thankfully, Miles opened his door and came out. He took one look at me and immediately said, "Hey Jess, Gwen's asking for you. She said something about the venue that you guys were talking about, and I booked it out of there." By the time I was done talking with Gwen, Toiletbeard had gone away. I went to bed and decided that was just a one-off. I was wrong. Oh no, the determination of a beard. Unstoppable. After that, Toiletbeard made a habit of waiting until I was alone to come upstairs. God, I hate him. Everything I said about him being redeemable, I take it back. This is total creep behavior. He would make a show of criticizing my playstyle, giving advice, and on the nights I was watching a movie or a show, he would list every negative thing that he had heard about my chosen entertainment, making it impossible to just enjoy it. All of this while comparing me to his ex and talking about how I deserve
a nice guy.
Oh, you know, hostile work environment? This is a hostile home environment. This is not okay. Then the persona incident happened from the last story, and my God, I would hear his footsteps outside of my door at night. Ooh, creep vibes. I thought I was being paranoid until Lee confirmed that he had heard it as well. While downstairs, after one such night, I pointedly mentioned wanting to get a taser to keep by my bed, to which Toiletbeard had the audacity to criticize my method of self-defense.
You should really just keep a gun, you know.
And for once, I couldn't help but agree. What are the gun laws like in your state? Getting rid of this neckbeard is not worth going to jail over, okay? Just tase him a few times. He'll get the message. Can you say invasive? On top of his many, many other fields of expertise, Toiletbeard is also a fashion expert. Very early on into our living situation, it became clear that I could not dress up at all without earning some kind of comment from the beard. As if the general nosiness,
where you going, who you seeing, want some company?
wasn't enough. I would ask Lee for his thoughts on an outfit, a best friend's obligation, and Toiletbeard would immediately have some advice for me as well. The most notable of these incidents, I'd purchased a few new outfits and was eager to try them on. I didn't have a mirror in my room, so I was going back and forth to the bathroom to see how each item fit. The door was sticking during this time and didn't always completely shut, but I didn't think much of it because I shared the floor with my brother and my best friend. So things were safe, right? Tell me things were safe. I pulled on a red crop top and walked to the bathroom. It was a beautiful fit. I observed to myself, wow, this has enough support that I could honestly go braless. I made the mistake of saying that out loud. Oh no! From behind me I hear,
hell yeah, you could.
Oh my god. What? The beard was there. How he had crept up the stairs so quietly, I had no idea. He seems to be a ninja on those friggin' stairs, considering the past couple stories. He had not been upstairs when I got to my room, but there he stood, with Lee. Lee, of course, looked mortified, and Toiletbeard looked almost smug. His gaze was far from subtle, as it dropped to my chest and back up. Embarrassed and more than a little angry, I said, "Did I ask?" At the same time, Lee snapped, "Dude, what the fuck?" Lee told Toiletbeard to go to his room so they could continue their conversation and shot me a quick apology. I went back to my room, shoving the door closed. I walked to the back of my room towards my closet and yanked the crop top off. I didn't wear that shirt for 6 months. Yep, as nice as the shirt is, it's been stained by a beard. It has to go in timeout. I reached for a sweater instead, something harder to sexualize, and I tugged it on. I wasn't gonna let him ruin my afternoon, though. I had cute clothes to try on. I went to leave my room and noticed that the door hadn't latched. It was open, just a crack, and my skin started crawling. Oh my god! This is ridiculous! What's going on? How has he not been kicked out yet? A peeping Tom? A creeping Tom? A peeping creeping Tom? And he's living in your house? God damn, I'm gonna have a real conversation with Ben. Be like, look bro, I understand, okay? You could definitely help him out, but help him out while he's outside of this house. This is not a good situation. Sure enough, when I swung open the door, I saw Toiletbeard. He was leaning back out of Lee's doorway, which faces my own from down the hall, one hand on the frame for support. He was agreeing with something that Lee had said, but he was watching my doorway intently, trying to lean far enough back to see into that little crack without actually stepping out of Lee's room. What the actual hell, dude? When he saw me, he froze for a second, then sat up abruptly, smacking his hand against the doorframe in his haste. The noise drew Lee's attention, and I heard another, "Toilet! Dude!" from inside the bedroom. Toilet naturally tried to pretend that he'd done nothing wrong, but Lee kicked him back downstairs in minutes. If only he could have been kicked out of the house completely in minutes. This was only a few months into our cohabitation, and it has gone so well since then, hasn't it? Anyway, Toiletbeard has certainly done worse. Oh no. And I'd be happy to tell you more if you're interested, but this was the start of it all. So, hope you guys enjoyed reading. What a mess! What a friggin' quagmire! I always get so nervous when the OPs say that it gets worse. He's certainly done worse is not a good thing. As one of the comments I read recently said, it makes my mind jump directly to Weezybeard or Bootbeard, where I started out these stories thinking everything's fun, happy-go-lucky, and then the bottom just completely drops out. I'm hungry. I should never read these things when I'm hungry, but it seems like I'm always hungry.
Cake! Cake! Cake!
Toiletbeard 4!
Age of Stink.
It's a good title. I bring you a mixed bag of goodies today. I started writing this at work, and I plan to give some more recent things pretty soon. I would not count on daily updates just because I'm busy as hell right now, setting up to get married. AOP, congratulations. Pick the right one. That's all I'm saying. Double, triple check. No need for a setup this time if you've read all the previous parts. We got part 1, 2, 3, and also him. Oh, just what we need in the morning. Some Neckbeard butt crack. Look at that. He's got his headphones and controller readily accessible, and what looks like a jar of piss or water. I am hesitant to call it piss because it does have a clearish color, but it also might not be water since I've never known a neckbeard to drink water regularly. There's plenty of other cans around. What is this, like rock stars and Mountain Dews and Dr. Peppers and stuff? Oh, Toiletbeard, creating his own little nest on the couch. Is he really 300 pounds though? I guess you can't see the gut hanging off the front, but you definitely see that he's a thick boy and he's got a skinny little arm there. Skinny fat, that's what he is. But that's enough neckbeard butt crack for one lifetime. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we start the story with closeness. During the times between D&D, if Toilet isn't passed out on his disgusting couch, taking 30-minute dumps, or crying alone in his room, he's practically glued to Ben. You could take the dumps while you cry, save some time. Ben's watching TV, Toiletbeard is there. Ben's in the kitchen, Toiletbeard is orbiting. Ben goes to the store, Toilet has come along too. Ben's having sex with his wife. Well, that's really the only time that she's able to get Ben alone. And apparently has used this tactic many times in order to separate them. Saint Ben just spends the most time with Toiletbeard. And to his credit, he has tried a lot to help this reject fit in with the group and society at large. Unfortunately, we think that prolonged beard experience has worsened Ben's mental state and only exasperated his depression. It happens. Fitting even more into the old man jokes that we make about him and his creaky knees, now Ben often sports a 1,000-yard stare. It just checks out of conversations regularly. I've seen some shit, man. Rare are the days when the light behind his eyes shines through, and rarer still when he sports the energy that a 25-year-old should normally have. This beard has been sucking him dry, and not in the fun way. I was a little bit worried about which way that was going. Ben's armchair sits facing the TV, with a chair for his wife to sit in next to it. Toiletbeard has claimed the first of our small couches to seat his fat frame for the rest of the time. It used to sit in front of the TV, but now it has unfortunately moved against the window and faces the rest of the house, so that now he can see who comes and who goes, as well as whether or not the upstairs crew is active. My room is a safe haven. I like to believe that I exude enough fuck you energy to thankfully keep Toiletbeard from trying to come and talk to me in my space, especially after my last birthday, which is a story that's coming up. I feel like it's very obvious how disinterested I am in Toiletbeard, and I often decline his invitations. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Dude ain't gonna get the message any other way. Stonewall 'em.
Hey, Miles, I'm working on a new D&D campaign. It's about stolen plotline to BioShock, Assassin's Creed, or Fallout, etc.
Oh, great. Sounds like a blast.
You want to join in?
No, but have fun.
Oh, okay. Well, the offer's open anytime.
Thanks, but I have way too much shit to do. Y'all have fun, though. And I zip back to my room, where it is safe. God, I identify so much, OP. This interaction repeats about 2 or 3 times every month. Can I tell you that it never changes? His creativity is always lacking. And thankfully, Lee has shamed him multiple times for lifting directly from other, better properties. I actually quit playing D&D because 1, it took up too much time, and 2, I couldn't stand having to play with Toiletbeard. Being around him just takes the fun out of it all. During the pandemic's height especially, I kinda needed to use every spare moment to make money through drawing. I only just got back to my real job 2 weeks ago. Well, God bless you for weathering it, OP. That must have been difficult. I was writing blogs and stuff through the whole pandemic thing. Such is the magic of online work. And I was grateful for it, but then the YouTube took off and I quit. Gotta look out for myself, you know? Take care of number 1. Cake! I assume this is the birthday story. So, do you know what it's like being a child of divorce? Yes. Among the few perks, you can get more than 1 birthday. Well, sign me up. This is something I try to enjoy the most due to the roughness of my family. My mom and grandparents usually work together to have a family gathering for birthdays. We usually eat over there and take anything that's left home with us. And Dad, well, it depends, usually. Yeah, as fathers are wont to do. Last year, my father, stepmom, and little brother came to town to treat me and Jess to dinner for my birthday. The next week, they came around with a cake that my stepmom had made for me. We ate together and had a pretty good time. And while I really enjoyed all the cake, so far I was kind of full up. So I put the remaining treat in this glass cake holder thing that Ben set up in the kitchen for any treats that were up for grabs. And then my sister also surprised me with a Ben & Jerry's cake. Oh, God bless it. I'm hungry. I should never read these things when I'm hungry, but it seems like I'm always hungry. I swear I'm not a fat body. I'm doing gym time these days. Never having had one of those delicious ice cream cakes before, I actually felt like sharing it with the housemates so that we could all enjoy it as a little family. Unfortunately, the schedules of everyone were just a little bit hard to align at a decent time to have cake. So Jess's gift had to sit in the freezer for a couple of weeks. I actually found it on the counter one day after coming down to make myself lunch. Hey, whoever left my fucking cake out should have put it back right after.
Sorry,
Gurgled the beard from his perch.
I forgot to do that when I was getting something out earlier.
Fucking idiot. A day or so later. You know what? I thought to myself, fuck it. I want a piece of that goddamn cake. I'll just let the others take theirs as they want to afterwards. So I went downstairs and I opened the freezer. Oh, that's odd. Maybe the paper seal broke after it defrosted? I don't think that's scientific. No. What the fuck? A piece was missing. Not a large piece, but a piece that should not have been missing yet. Seems to me Toiletbeard wasn't getting nothing out of the freezer except for that cake. Now, I don't know about you, dear reader, but all of my family, and also just about every other fucking person that I've asked since, agrees to this unspoken law. The birthday person always takes the first slice. Yeah, maybe on their birthday, but 2 weeks later? Nah, it's your house. You do you, man. I'm not even big on cake. It's birthday steak and potatoes for me, but you better believe I get the biggest slice of steak. Also, this was a fairly expensive cake. Ice cream cake. Cherry Garcia or something. Oh, good. I don't remember, but the very thought threatens to rekindle my rage and send me hurtling off the stairs to bounce on Toiletbeard's skull. So, right. Anyways, I sent out a very heated text to the in-house group chat demanding to know who did it. I mean, I knew, but I wanted him to say it. He immediately fessed up to his gluttony, and I called him everything but a white man. What the hell does that mean? We could probably phrase that a little better. It was lucky for him that I was home alone, or something definitely would have happened. Bro, you really big on this cake thing. Like, have you considered therapy? I'm not even joking. Like, this is a really small thing to explode over. Instead, after thoroughly reaming this gluttonous blob, I took my cake and cut a big piece for myself. It did not taste as good as it should have. You see, I had definitely offered cake to the family, but the obvious cake that was up for grabs anytime that was in the dessert case, you know, the one on the counter, the very obvious cake in view of anyone, especially a fat, useless waste of space that will never know the touch of a woman. Woo, he's coming in hot. Yeah, that cake. The principle of the cake itself had been ruined. He went for the one that he had to dig in the freezer for, and he said nothing. He didn't even ask. Even after the fact, he didn't ask. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be upset, OP. But there's levels to this kind of thing. I believe common fucking sense dictates that you not touch a cake that doesn't belong to you. Especially if it is as uncut as a French porn star. What? I don't know nothing about that. Fuck you, Toiletbeard. Apparently, the beast can feel shame. I think it was that night, but it could have been the next day. He climbed those stairs that were
oh so painful to his poor knees.
And he brought me an apology and a gift. Again, I reminded him that I was not angry about the cake itself, but instead the principle that was violated, and the fact that he did not ask me which cake he was allowed to take from. He damn well knew which one. I believe he was shamed from that because afterwards he left me in peace and didn't try to bother me again. At least not for a while. Good times. Oh, and if you're wondering, his peace offering was a Funko Pop. Android 16 because birds. Long-time subscribers of the channel will probably know my take on Funko Pops, so I ain't gonna spoil it here, lest the comment section be taken over with people who are like, hey, I like Funko Pops. I hope you threw it in the trash, OP. Courtship. Here's something that you've been waiting for, I'm sure. Beardo the Magnificent did in fact have a girlfriend. I don't know how they met or how involved they were. I do not fucking care in the slightest. And if he were ever to be touched, that would be by a miracle of some twisted gods. I mean, he is touched, but just in the head. I'm not giving her the dignity of a Spider-Man theme, so we'll call her Squeegee. Squeegee was up from one of the Great Lakes states, way up north. I think they met online somehow, which I can't poke at. He was very jumpy about his screen showing any messages when he was around others. Fair, right? That's normal? That's normal. And of course, having absolutely zero interest in either of them, I can't really tell you with certainty what she looks like. Dark hair, kinda chubby, painfully awkward with people. Lee was really the only one who tried to converse and make her feel welcome, but that was kind of it. I remained in my den almost the entire time that she was here when that eventually happened, and these are the details that I got from Lee. Well, it seems like both of them had a large manipulative streak. She was definitely a gold digger. They met on Discord through a D&D channel, and he courted her by buying her modules and a membership on D&D Beyond. They started dating after that. Oh boy. Afterwards, she used her relationship with him to get things, like claiming to really need money or want some expensive thing, in spite of knowing that Beardo had very little money already. She finally came over and had never even seen a picture of him before. Oh god. Or at least that's what she claimed. He had seen her though, because she had been on video chat during a Discord call, and that is how he knew what she looked like. And of course, she was physically disgusted by him. Oh man, what's a membership on D&D Beyond cost? Less than a cuddle session, apparently. She wouldn't cuddle, or kiss, or even watch movies with him. What? Dude, this chick is cold. She definitely wouldn't share a bed with him, especially after seeing the state of his room. She slept on Toiletbeard's couch, I believe, because she refused to share a bed with him. She kept as far away as possible until she could just go home. Oh, God. Then a week later, she split. And Toiletbeard, of course, was a pathetic fucking mess that would cry and mope
and talk about killing himself constantly.
Within that week, Lee and I heard some noise on the stairs. We exchanged a look. I returned to drawing, and Lee went downstairs to see what was happening. Lee did not return for about 10 to 20 minutes, so I left my room to peer over the banister. Below was Lee, sitting on the stairs with a sobbing blob in his usual loungewear.
I just don't understand. I cared about her so much.
My poor bro tried to continue comforting the beard.
But no one is ever going to love me. She was the only one I ever managed to trick into liking me.
I don't think you're supposed to trick people into liking you. That's not how it works. Oh man, I wish I felt worse about it, but I don't. Yeah. As much as I would have loved to save Lee from being there, I had to save my own hide. I mean, I'm not really a people person, and I already had zero sympathy for that fat fuck. Lee eventually managed to get away and gave me the cliff notes on everything, and it was pretty much what you'd expect. Squeegee didn't want to be with Toiletbeard anymore, and that sent Toiletbeard into a panicked frenzy. End of story? You wish. Unbeknownst to literally anyone else, he managed to plead and beg his way back into her heart with thinly veiled threats of unlife, and she just agreed. Such a scumbag move, but we'd expect nothing less from the Beards, wouldn't we? After they got back together and she started hitting him up for money and things again, also used her status as the server's owner's girlfriend in order to get perks, Toiletbeard would in turn make comments about wanting things from her that she just never wanted to give. God damn. And he would also repeatedly hound her to come back and visit him again. That obviously never happened. Eventually, she and Lee had enough problems in D&D for Squeegee to just leave the group. Toiletbeard came and told Lee off for being an asshole to her. Soon, Toiletbeard also lost his job, and Squeegee stopped showing up to D&D at all, and stopped joining in their calls as much. About a month ago, though, Squeegee finally found the guts to tell Toiletbeard that she was sick of him and didn't want to be with him anymore, and we actually haven't heard from her since. And now, rinse and repeat, he mopes and talks about
how much he wants to die.
This time, though, we don't let him come crying to us. The beard was left to his lonesome feelings, and he actually stayed in his room for like a week straight. I hope somebody was checking on him. That boy needs therapy. I'm definitely not equipped to handle any of this, but I will direct you to a really great therapist, whose cost is like super cheap. And so we move on to commitment. 4 days before the fallout of his love life, Toilet actually hit Ben up for a favor. Lee was downstairs at this time and got to observe the entire interaction.
Can you give me some advice? I want to get an engagement ring for Squeegee,
He began.
I really want to, start moving things in that direction, and be with her and stuff.
Ben was happy to give his friend advice, suggesting to just go for whatever feels right.
Yeah, but I don't have a lot of money to get the ring.
It's not exactly about the ring. It's more about the meaning behind it. Ben clued in as to what the beard was after, and it was not happening, especially with the fact that Ben had literally just spotted Toilet's rent and utilities for the last 2 months so far. I mean, it seems like an easy way to make him somebody else's problem, but it's not like she ever would have said yes anyways. Do you not just love the audacity of this filthy man thing? He's a mooch, that's for sure. I think this made the crushing finality of her dumping him again even more real for him.
Oh, I'm gonna be alone forever. No one's ever going to like me. It's okay.
He continues to sing his greatest hits to anyone unfortunate enough to listen. Next time I'll let you know about the intervention. The beard-tervention, if you will. See you soon, and may your beards stay buttered. Oh, toilet, toilet, toilet. What are we gonna do with you? He's obviously a leech, a shameless mooch, a slob, but there is such a large part of me that also wants to help him find redemption. Although that's probably just because I'm not living with him at the moment. If I had to look at his face every day, I can understand how those feelings would quickly wane. Saint Ben has indeed earned his nickname in this saga, as with all the others. I truly do hope that he'll get it figured out at one point or another, but it doesn't seem to be progressing very well. Because anybody that tries to help him, he really does just like suck the life out of them. You know what I mean? And if he's going around moping about committing unlife, then Ben helps him once, and guess what? The score is now even, and Ben can kick Toiletbeard out 100%, right? I'm pretty sure that's how we've established it works. A life for a life or something like that. Toiletbeard got them donkey brains.
They started calling me Frankie Donkey Brains, and it was very traumatic.
Toiletbeard 5. Get down. Get funky. Electric Boogaloo. Okay, what a day. I got a frantic call from my partner as soon as she saw that ReddX posted the video. Oh, hell yeah. We catching up now. I was actually having lunch with Jess and May and our stoner friend. You'd like him. And we all had a huge laugh over it. I actually just finished watching the video, and it seems like I just have to give you your next dose. Oh yeah, shoot me up, baby. So, where to begin? You know the beard. You know the others. Soon, you will know the pain. Soon you will know the tragic extent of my failings. Open wide. Here comes the beard. God, I don't want to. If you're new here, parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 are important for context. Links in the description. This one might also get a little freaky, so we got that not safe for work tag. Introductions are simple. In comparison, you could call us Chads, myself, Jess, Lee, and our downstairs emissary, May. Then her unfortunate husband, Ben, and him. Our offender sports a bushy beard of black pubes, the stare of a caveman, and clothes that defy all detergent. We live in a fairly large house in a decent enough town in Texas, and ever since the virus hit us, things have been all downhill. Luckily, I've returned to work again after a year, and I'm finally settling back in just in time before I get married too. High five. I think I told you in the last one. Double, triple check. Make sure she's the right one. But congratulations. I've been having my crew help me catalog and write out the sins of our beast. And thankfully, we have more than enough for you to check out. So please enjoy, dear reader. Con Man. In case it wasn't especially clear before, Toiletbeard is a manipulative man that will resort to anything for attention.
Yeah. I used to work as a pizza man in my last place before I had to move back in with my parents. You wouldn't believe all the stuff that would happen out there.
Oh yeah? Like?
Well, once I got surrounded by vans on my way to work and held up at gunpoint.
We're gonna rob this pizza guy. It's gonna be a big score. You grab the money, Trike, baby.
And then one of the guys comes out of their car and shouts at the others, "It's not him! We got the wrong guy!"
Blinking my confusion away, I stared at him and asked him to continue.
I was shitting myself the whole time, but it turned out that I look almost exactly like a big drug dealer in the area, and they thought that it was me.
That's wild. Damn, dude. It sounded way too much like something that was pulled straight from a movie, but like hell am I gonna bother pointing that out? My listening seemed to sate the beard for the time being, and he returned to his screen. What a non sequitur. He would often try to tell me about his pizza man stories, especially after I made a crack about alternative payments. Ugh, shudder.
You wouldn't believe how often that happens. I've been late for my shifts a couple of times that way.
Yeah, those poor imaginary women. My heart goes out to them. Doubt. Now, I know that Jess wants to be the one to expound on this in her own stories, but I also want to include this due to relativity. I will leave plenty of meat for her to use herself, so don't worry. My sister has some interesting health issues, mostly developed over time, ranging from mildly annoying, like an allergy to shrimp or cherries, to very worrisome, like severe seizures or sun blisters. She's got a bit of a crapshoot as far as genetics are concerned. She's about 3 years my junior, sorta chubby, freckles, and usually glasses. Hair color varies on her whims at the time. Jess and I are very close, having gone through a lot of the toughest parts of our lives together, and even more so now that we're so far from the rest of the family. Honestly, we've always just joked that she's me, but with boobs. Lee, a year older than me, is in every sense our adopted brother. He's stocky, with his own beard that he maintains and trims regularly. He second guesses himself a lot, but he is exceptionally smart, and someone that I would trust with my life. When the three of us hang out, it's pretty easy to see what kind of bond we have, and I guess to the troll living below us, he's pretty jealous, and he wants in. Into the group? Into Jess? Yes. Yes to both. Sometimes we can be loud with our conversations, usually moving in a group and just doing our own thing. Usually during these hangouts, my sister might fall victim to a seizure and need our help to stabilize and relax again before she can return to function. The panic that it can cause is hard to not let out past the stairs, and sometimes the downstairs folks are witness to the mess. That is so fucking terrifying. I'm sure it's a thing that never really becomes routine. I remember my boy had a seizure one time because his fever got super high because he was super sick, and I will never forget that day. That is probably the scariest thing to ever happen to me, like ever. Whew. Within the first 3 months or so, once he had a chance to observe us for long enough, I think that the beard attempted to emulate his best attempt at being in dire pain. Screaming would emanate from the couch downstairs. Peeking over the rails revealed a baby elephant, thrashing as if fresh upon the world with paper skin and bones of glass. What the hell? Toilet? You good, man? and he would thrash further for a few minutes and pant out,
My leg hurts. Seizure.
almost as quickly as it would come up. However, by the time we would come down to check, the pain seemed to die down and Toiletbeard would relax again. Not always quite back into his same manner, but usually taking the time to tell us about his past medical experiences.
When I was a kid, I was in the mental hospital because of my autism. They tried electroshock on me a few times to try and fry it out of me.
Toiletbeard got them donkey brains. Uh-huh, that sounds pretty intense.
Yeah, I was like 11 when they did it, and it left a lot of bad effects. I hated the smell.
There's a smell? Okay. The only time I ever electrified myself was when I was trying to plug in the Super Nintendo when I was like 8 years old, and I touched the prong when it was halfway in the socket. But I don't remember a smell. I just remember my finger being numb for a little while. This was usually the flavor of the encounters when he would have one of these, whatever the hell it was supposed to be. We didn't always go down to check on him. More often than not, he would suddenly wake up from a nap while we were making food and begin shouting and moving around again. Funny enough, though, it was only ever when others were nearby, or when he knew he would be heard. As big as the house might be, we can still hear through the walls fairly decently in some areas. Getting curious about it, I went to find May to find out some more. So, you've known Toiletbeard a while, right? You know anything about the seizures? Not really. Ben never mentioned that being a thing, and he's never done anything like that when he stayed at our apartment before. Interesting. The plot thickens. Jess was thoroughly convinced of his deceit, so we started to ignore the screams. He's fucking faking it, Miles. Even I haven't had seizures that bad. Screaming is too painful, and I can't just flop around like that. I'm lucky if I can get my arms or legs to move at all. Yeah, basically stiff as a board. Slight shaking, but I don't think you're gonna make all that noise. He's definitely doing it for attention. Having no reason to argue, I just kinda took her word for it. Not knowing anything about neurology myself, I know I can't say what's legit and what isn't. But I can tell you how a day or so of us ignoring his screams and thrashing suddenly made Toiletbeard's seizures less severe, even less frequent, until eventually he just stopped having them. It's been over a year now, and he has not done that shit again the entire time. What a miracle! OP, you've cured him! This is amazing! Congratulations! What a dick. Courtesan. Our friend Ozzy had been a big part of our friend group since high school. Think of him as our Green Goblin. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, but with longer hair and much more confidence in his sex appeal. Wherever we go, Ozzy is sexy. Living about an hour away, it's been hard to visit us regularly within the last year or so, and that just makes it even more important that our visits are more fun and memorable. For some reason, Ozzy has been offering for ages to be a stripper for us. I'm good, dude. Showing us his moves in his room, Ozzy danced for us, complete with cowboy hat, duster, and a stick horse named Al Capone. God. Over dinner, we talked about what was to be done with Toiletbeard. What if you just, aggressively twerked on someone? I almost choked on my nachos. Ozzy went on to spin his yarn and pulled us into his vision. He had been looking for an excuse to dance for us and always asks, Do y'all think you need a stripper? Tonight we do. Oh, God. After stopping by his house to pick up his things, we were on our way. The glorious gyrations of our skinny legend had us rolling at his house, and we couldn't wait to bring this special surprise home for the whole family. Let's go for the kiss. Let's go for the adults. A night that will live on in the hearts and minds of our children for generations. I think Lee gave Ben an early warning a couple of days before just to prepare him for what was to come. Didn't want to upset him, you know, and he seemed fine with it at the time. That night, we roll up, Lee and I taking point to keep Ozzy from being spotted early. Up the stairs we went, letting him prepare. May spotted us passing the terrace and immediately started snickering. Shh, I hiss, and motion for her to act natural. The beard was surprisingly nowhere to be seen. His ass groove as unfilled as his parents' expectations for him. God damn. That's so good. I love it. I run to my sister's room and tug her out to see the surprise. Okay, whenever we're ready, can you go downstairs and just bait him to sit? Sure, but I'm taking the other couch, all of it. Duh, you don't want him to touch you. Jess scurried downstairs and took her place. Lee and I agreed on our positions. I would tape from above and he would go below. Double teaming our efforts to get the most out of what would surely be an amazing experience. Hey, toilet, can you come check this out? Lee knocked on the door of the beard den. We've got everyone here and we want to show you something.
I'm in the middle of my game.
It'll only be a minute or two. Surprisingly, the one time we wanted him to come out, he was holed up in his nest, playing Persona again. A few minutes later, the gelatinous mass of human meats and assorted hairs shuffled into the hall with a breathy,
What? What's up?
We may have spooked him. We never wanted his attention so keenly before, but spotting Milady on the nearby couch, Toiletbeard disregards all dangers and drops his ample frame into place on his couch. Oh, God. It's gonna be glorious.
I got something special.
The beard began.
2 adjacent days off.
Oh, nice, Jess replies. That's something I didn't like when working at the clinic. It was kind of frustrating, but, hey, I did kind of want to show you something. She holds her hand up. Now hear me out on this, okay? The beard makes himself comfy and puts his feet up, puffing on his vape, not even realizing how he has trapped himself. Turning to the Alexa on the kitchen counter, she tries a couple of times to activate it. The bot refused to respond as if pretending to be deaf. So I take the initiative. I raise my voice instead. Alexa, max volume. Alexa, play Pony by Genuine. Ben suddenly looks up in confusion and mild panic. No, please. The music kicks on. I keep hearing about the song. I don't know nothing about it. Here's some lyrics.
Yeah. I'm just a bachelor. I'm looking for a partner. Someone who knows how to ride without even falling off.
It's like Gilbert Gottfried. Ozzy struts down the stairs, Al Capone between his legs, while the duster billows behind him. Ben and May watch him approach, one concerned and one loving it. Toilet's head whips around, trying to find out what exactly the hell is happening. Sashaying his way to the frozen beard, Ozzy bucks his hip and tips his hat to the gentle sir, gyrating just as practice. This frightens the beard, and he has chosen flight. Toiletbeard jumps up and speed walks out of the living room. Ozzy tosses off his hat and coat over the beard's seat and gives chase.
I won't let my man go.
Toiletbeard pauses by the stairs to shoot me a look as if he wants to say something, but our sexy stripper is right behind him. Before the stick horse can give him a nice kinky bite on the rear, he retreats to his room and slams the door shut. The music continues, our laughter roaring and threatening to drown out the sultry track. Ozzy shrugs his shirt off and rushes his steed into action. Wait, come back! Lee follows the action to catch every second of this on his phone, arguably getting the better footage due to me keeling over holding my sides. Tossing Al Capone and his shirt aside, our guy continues his dance outside of the den. Alexa, May starts before Ozzy shouts back, "No, keep it going! Keep the music going! I'm not done!" I don't know if this is a job or what, but he's really into it for some reason. Ozzy begins undoing his jeans. Uh-oh. The door opens for just a second. They exchange looks. The beard timidly holding a bat to his chest, and Ozzy nodding before pulling his pants the rest of the way down and dancing in his boxers. Admitting defeat, the door shuts again, with Toiletbeard literally holding it closed. Jess quiets Alexa, while our cowboy reclothes himself quickly. A little bit later, Lee does try and check on Toilet, just to make sure he's not too rattled. He seemed alright, but he was pretty pissed. Mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not scared of him. He just, freaked me out. It's my autism that makes me react like that. I wouldn't run away, normally.
Yeah, sure. He's made some homophobic remarks several times. I'll ask Jess to include those in her stories. Ozzy is straight, by the way. He's just, very comfortable in himself. Ozzy is sexy, and this is our fact. The rest of us hung out while Toilet sulked, and we had a pretty great weekend. Scaring the beard actually kept him from coming upstairs for a while, which Jess made the most of and invited her girlfriend over to spend some time too. Everyone wins, except the person nobody cares about. I'll be working with Lee to put together some more of our Butterball's bumbling buffoonery. I can't exactly see this series ending, per se, but it might dry up the closer that we get to the present day. So, until then, we will catch you on the flippity. OP says he's got the video in the comments, so once this Neckbeard vacates the domicile, maybe I can cut that into, the full saga or something. That would be pretty funny. This is probably one of the better revenge schemes that I've seen. It could have been planned out a little better, okay? Somebody should have known that he would try to retreat to his room, lock him out of his own room, somebody stand there and block the door, You could have really got him for more than just a few seconds. Had him running around the whole house away from this stripper cowboy, which is... That's what I would pay money to see, man. That is amazing.
If I'm correct, when you were a boy, you were admitted into a mental institution? Is this correct?
I got electroshock therapy.
Donkey brains.
Toiletbeard 6. This is how you blew it. I think all the previous parts could have that title too. This is how he blew any chance of social interaction. But let's see. Sorry guys, it's been a busy month, and I kind of forgot after my sister asked me to delay this part. It's been sitting in my drafts for far too long, and I know I promised this story, so here it is. I hope it lives up to the expectations. Parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, all linked here for context. Or if you prefer, Mr. ReddX has been chug-a-lugging his way through the beardery on his channel. Vids 1 and 2 and 3. And I think there's a vid 4 now. But please, Mr. ReddX, it's so formal. Mr. ReddX is my father, I think. Oh, actually, no, my dad. That probably explains a lot about me. Anyways, this crap was a long time coming. And I wish that it had actually done, well, anything. Not safe for work warning for mentions of the deed. Oh, sewer slide or boning? We can talk about either one. We just need to broach the subject carefully. Conversation. As a brief prelude to this next critical part, I went with Ben to his parents' place to drop off some furniture. It was a pretty nice time, but really, I was dreading the talk that I would need to have with him. Lee, Jess, and I all agreed that because Ben had asked me to go with on the long drive, that it would be the perfect time to bring up our thoughts. And yeah, it sucked. But if anyone had the gall, I guess it was me. Ben's parents were pretty nice. I've met the mom only once before, and the family seems pretty chill, as far as I know. It feels pretty clear to me that, in spite of some rocky periods in his life, he had a really good upbringing, and it shows often. Yeah, you can't be like as good of a person as he is if your home life was just the shambles. On the way back, I finally managed to segue into the dreaded topic. Locked in a small car is the perfect place for tensions to run high. You can't run away from me. We're strapped into the seat next to each other. Ben actually responded fairly well this time, though, and we spoke at length of Toiletbeard and all the issues that we had with him to date. All right. I can understand why you guys are getting annoyed with him. What do you suggest, though? I mean, you kind of know him best. That's why we wanted to get your input before we talk to him. You know how he reacts to things. Ben nods, focusing on the road. Yeah, he doesn't do well with confrontation. So we really just want him to cut the shit. We don't exactly want him to move out, but a lot of the stuff that he does, it's just so hard not to tell him straight and hurt his stupid fucking feelings. I think you'll probably just have to be upfront. He can get really stuck in his head about how he thinks things are, and he reads tones weirdly, so you have to remind him that you don't outright hate him, and you're just annoyed. I took a minute and thought about it. Alright, I'll let the others know, and we'll try and get things together. Jess will have to talk to you about her beef with him, specifically because I don't know all the details. I'm literally never there when it happens. Ben told me that he would speak to the beard and try easing him into what was going on. I think Ben's voice also changed since I read him in one of the previous parts. But he doesn't deserve a whiny, nasally voice. He seems pretty fair and balanced on this issue during this conversation. So, good. He's cool. He's calm. He's a saint. Texting my crew as the talk went on, I gave him the key points. After that, Ben and I moved on to other things, thankfully, until finally coming home. Jess, being regularly busy with her classwork, never really managed to find the time to speak to Ben privately, though. Well, that's just avoidant behavior. It kind of seems like something that you should make time for, doesn't it? But I do understand. It's an ugly conversation to have. Confrontation. This is a couple of weeks after our car ride. No changes, as expected. I think that after a while of us venting about how annoying Toiletbeard was, May decided that we needed to have a meeting and just tell Ben what was what, and that we were going to do something now, whether he liked it or not. The time had come, and we were fed up. Grab your torches and pitchforks, ladies and gentlemen. This afternoon was a strange change indeed, because Toiletbeard actually wanted to cook for us again. He smelled something on the wind, I'm sure. Danger, cubs. I have to ingratiate myself once more. Burgers, again, on my grill. The key point to that, though, is that the beard had to run to Wally World and pick up a couple of things. Perfect. He was gone for about an hour or more. Ben came home shortly after, so May started by taking her hubby aside and giving him a small warm-up before we all sat down in the dining room and began, "We're getting kind of sick of Toiletbeard, dude." Ben's face fell. He was deeply uncomfortable. We weren't comfortable either, but the push must happen. We listed his crimes. We listed the grievances. We listed the minuscule things that had been allowed to lump up over time, and we mentioned how we felt that Toiletbeard was taking advantage of his friendship with Ben. Ben just nodded solemnly. He couldn't really argue, and as unfortunate as it was, he just had no real alternative. "Well, I guess it's on you guys then. When you say it's time for him to go, then it's time. We're still gonna try and talk to him when he gets home. Try, anyways. Probably after dinner, though. I don't want to ruin his mood and make him give up on trying dinner again." "Yeah, that's a good idea. Ben's 1,000-yard stare hardly wavered. You want to come up when we do it? Do you want me up there? Lee piped up. Only if you really want to, man. Whatever you're comfortable with. Oh my god. Is it truly the end of days for Toiletbeard? How is it possible that he will be removed from the house? Beards are wilier than we give him credit for. I'm pretty sure the battle has only just begun. Ben did decide to stay downstairs, but if things got hairy, he would come up and give us a hand. I laid out the attack plan for Lee. We would sit on the small couch on the far side of the loft, so that if the beardo got upset and charged down, we could minimize embarrassment and potential injury. Lee said that he would rather stand. A few hours passed. Dinner was edible. Mildly less crunchy this time. Hey, that's progress. My sister bailed to some urgent responsibility that she had to do. Don't remember. It left us one short, but we had to push on, right? No, was it really an urgent responsibility, or are we looking at more avoidant behavior? Either way, pull the trigger. It's gotta happen. Lee and I exchanged tentative looks and started to the loft. Hey, Toilet, wanna come up here for a minute? We wanna talk about something. From the ass groove, he looked up.
Uh-oh. What did I do now?
Just come up. It's all right. Let me tell you about the rabbits. Put one behind his ear. The ivory-skinned slug thing made his way up those stairs. Exactly as planned, he sat on the larger couch upstairs in the middle of the two of us. With Lee leaning up against the wall next to the TV, he began. Look, man, I don't want you to feel like we're attacking you, all right? There's just, He fumbled for words for a minute. And louder, I butt in. There's shit you do that's really starting to bug us. So we need to talk about it so we can do something about it and turn this crap around.
Okay. Like what?
Well, for a start, sleeping on the goddamn couch.
Oh.
I just don't get it, dude.
I'm practicing for when I'm homeless again.
Well, you're not. You have a room. You pay rent. Or rather, Ben pays rent on your behalf. Mind you, I wasn't yelling at him. I just spoke very bluntly, very clearly in my more medium tone of annoyance. That's good, that's healthy, that's nice. That's what wifey and I do when we get upset. We've never yelled at each other. We just have a very specific voice. Are you serious? Lee flashes me a panicked look, and I cool it for a minute. It's fine if you pass out once in a while when you're gaming, but not every single fucking night. Remember this.
Okay, fair. I understand that.
You can see the tears begin welling in his beady baby beardy eyes. Or at least they went all puffy with the way that Toiletbeard kept rubbing his eyes really hard. He started covering his face though, and while it looked like he was crying, none of the other actual tells of crying were displayed. Crocodile tears, bruh. My emergency text to Ben asking if he should be turned loose went unanswered. Lee proceeded to detail our issues to him outright, the behavior exhibited toward Jess and our friends, his manipulation, and his tendency to take advantage of Ben and Lee's patience. Ultimately, we were just summing up the majority of these posts. Multiple times, he attempted to excuse the behavior, saying things like,
I don't really know any better. I'm just so useless. I want to kill myself already. I know I'm doing these things. You're completely right.
and
I should just die.
some of that good old classic suicide baiting. Lay off me because otherwise I'm gonna end myself. And after a certain point, nobody's buying it anymore. But OP does meet him with compassion, it seems. Sighing, Lee and I both tell him that if he genuinely feels this way, he needs to get help.
No, you think I haven't tried that? It won't work for me.
The blubbering man-baby spouted.
When I was a kid, my parents sent me to an asylum. I got electroshock therapy, and I was put on drugs, and blah, blah, blah.
As an aside, we did research on this a few times after he originally mentioned it. The treatment that he claims that he had was outlawed in the goddamn 70s. He was born in the 90s. Plus, we've met his parents, and none of these claims were true. They dote on him constantly, but he despises them because they had a second kid and,
Didn't need him anymore.
yeah, I'd take a second shot too. Like, let's see if we can get it right this time. We fucked the first one up something bad. I laugh, but really only time will tell. My kids are only 9 and 3. Who knows how it's gonna go? Fingers crossed. I want to stress that we take mental health very seriously. Some of us have lost friends and have dealt with these things personally. Tons of people have. When Toiletbeard brings up these kind of comments, we give him plenty of options to work on getting help, and he refuses every single time and pulls an excuse for why he can't or won't do so. God, he's just so frustrating. I don't want to say that he's 100% faking it, but he is definitely whipping it out at this point for attention, so you guys will lay off of him. Definitely one of his strongest tools of deflection. So, after we talked and went over every possible thing, we told him for the sake of fairness that we weren't kicking him out. See? It worked, kinda. I know we've been quietly seething about it and shaming him here on Reddit, and also apparently on YouTube, courtesy of ReddX. But it wasn't fair to just do that yet. Without telling him how he can change, he has no chance to change, right? We told Toiletbeard that he needed to fix his various bad behaviors or find a new place to stay. True to his 9-year-old childlike behavior, he went downstairs, eyes red, clearly fake crying. His door slammed, and he was not seen for at least a couple of hours. Lee and I peeked over the banister at our elder millennial roomie in his chair. So, how did we do? Ben pursed his lips and shrugged. I mean, you got it done. I didn't hear anything that sounded wrong. Apologizing to Ben again about the roughness of the situation, we returned upstairs. We actually saw the beard again in his perch a bit later when we came down for food. How you holding up, Toiletbeard? Lee asked.
Oh, pretty shitty, actually.
Ah, sorry.
Still wanna fucking kill myself.
We ceased responding to him at that point and just left. I think that's the proper response. He's like clearly looking to be placated some more. It does seem a little cold, but how else is he going to be pushed to, take a chance on a little bit of self-reflection or something like that? It's an ugly situation all around. Less than 24 hours later, the behavior, of course, continued, and the ass groove in the couch was further cemented, accompanied by this monstrous snoring, as well as, this time, computer miraculously balanced on the edge of his lap, headphones on, and the mouse on the couch next to him. It's fine if you pass out once in a while when you're gaming. Bastard loopholed us. Lee will remember that. Clenched. This is just a tidbit, but a new addition to the cast is May's sister, dubbed Jan. Jan is slightly younger and slightly taller than May, and recently moved to our town for school. She originally planned to take the Beard's Den for herself, but we have yet to find the time and resources to be rid of and clean that area, so Toiletbeard will remain, for now. Jan is a bit of an anomaly to Toilet, in the sense that she's another milady, but also that she isn't shy in telling him off either. He doesn't seem as interested in her as he had been in Jess, but it also seems like he still tries to talk to her anytime that she's alone in the kitchen. Ugh. He has yet to follow her up the stairs, to my knowledge, so I believe that she is safe out of his reach. Luckily for us, though, Jan also dislikes the beard deeply enough to join our little Cold War. She hasn't become an active member, but she has been made aware of our feelings towards him and shared her own discomforts. Last night, a new meme was made for the upstairs. Jan and Jess went outside to partake of the devil's lettuce. And we're out there for a good half hour or more just talking. All along, Toilet was moved from his usual perch to Ben's chair, just close enough to the window. Just leaned back enough to listen in to their conversation. Sneaky Beard is sneaky. It seemed every time that he would think about getting up and joining them, he thought better of it and just remained in place, or at least until they came back in. The two were just barely past the chair when out of the darkness came a soft grumble of a voice, enunciating each syllable as if trying to taste the results of intent.
Girls, can I interest you in a sweet treat?
No thank you. We have to go now. Lee and I were sitting around the living room when we heard them scramble up the stairs to safety. What did he say? Can I interest you in a sweet treat? Jan echoed. God, that's horrible. We were barely away from the banister, so we quickly realized that we should move further into the upstairs area to keep him from hearing us. None of us really knew what he would have meant, and while the words themselves feel benign, they don't though. The purpose also just know. These are the methods that fey creatures used to lure children into the woods in olden times. So let's not risk it, no matter how sweet the treat may be. God. Phrasing is horrible. You know, he sat there the whole time thinking about how to phrase it best, and it still came out cringy. This post might seem a little lean compared to some previous posts, due to this being our last major interaction with him so far. Unless he finds a way to bottom out harder, the next major thing that we expect to happen will be our purging of him. Until next time, stay buttery, viewer. Well, overall, it seems like a pretty difficult situation to have to live through for both Toiletbeard and the OP, honestly. It seems to me like there's some sort of mob mentality going on, and even though Jan is new, she kind of got pulled into it. I won't say that they're wrong for disliking the things that he does, but most of the roommate situations that I've ever had have been like just one-on-one, so we had to work it out. There was no democracy going on to get the other person out of the house. But Toiletbeard does seem to be taking advantage of people within the house. He seems to have pushed every single limit, been told multiple times, so I can't really feel too bad for him getting dogpiled on. And at the end of the day, it's all about personal happiness. You know, are you going to be happier with this dude out of the house? I would say yes, definitely. And while that might suck for him, it does seem to be a win for everybody else involved, so I hate to say it, but I'd probably dogpile on too if this dude's making my home life miserable. Home is supposed to be safe, okay? Get that through your head. Let's be real. The story isn't gonna get finished. The last post we have is this one, promising an ending, but I've waited for 5 years and I just can't wait no more. Cool story, bro. Good night, Toiletbeard. But I hope that you guys will let me know what you thought in the comments. I hope that you'll like, comment, and or subscribe on this video if you haven't already. Maybe share it around. We are possibly seeing the end of Toiletbeard, which is sad, but it's been quite a fun ride. And the videos are all still here on the channel, so you can relive it at any time that you like, which is pretty dang cool. We got a bunch of links in the description, including a bunch of plugs, also my social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and of course I'd like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous patrons. They might be a little bit out of order this time because we lost internet while I was recording, So I'm going to have to figure out how to get that back up. But regardless, I would definitely like to thank Calvicus, Fatboy Shrimp, Robert Waits, TSM Kirby, Teddy the Police, Aaron W, Delicious Jelly Donut, Candy Sora, Fire Drake, Livison, Silent Revolver, Zathras, Zero MMX, Little Lone Wolf, Vanilla Mel, Rouse Tower, Caustic Fox, Derpy Tricks, Aaron Lennox, Fisher Diggy, Hi Bat Japan, OG James Cook, JM Coon, Jerry, John Hero, Miss Monday, Magdalene Marshall, Thornrose, Melgar, Mirthful Baker, Mr. J, my boy Nat One Nick, Lady Nix, Katykins and Elizabeth, Sidestep, Cider Drinker, Serrated Ash, Siegfried, Ellie, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tamago, Tato Ferret, That Duck and Bug, Fusky, Treeberg, Redwind, Goose's Honk, Leon Embers, Naga Viper, John Indoors, A Roxers, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry. Crafty Kitty Cat, Mark 211, maybe next time Origami Cam, Princess Rosalie, Ghosty, The Last Shinobi, and the Maestro himself, Suka Cervantes. Additionally, our newest patrons, A Normal Joe, 10-Ton Monster, Will Mags, Origami Steve, and Babsy-kun. And we got a new friend joining us today. Welcome to the fold, Curtis Paramore. If it makes you feel good, you know, it's a Misery Business, that song. Anybody? No? I'm old? Okay. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel in the way that you do. I hope some other people out there will consider joining up on the Patreon. But if you can't do it right now, friends, don't sweat it too hard, man. I just appreciate you coming on through, spending part of your day with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and do the same thing again tomorrow. In order to do so, you'll need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe, watching some more ReddX videos, yeah! Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, and you definitely deserve it. I will see you in the next one, and until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for calling ReddX Industries. Your call is very important to us. Please hold on the line while we decontaminate the lab.